I mean, some of it, let me say something.
Yeah, I should go.
That also, if-
Yeah, just, you know, record. Whatever comes up, you know,
It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Yes, so thank you, everybody. Oh my God, I was going to say February. So we are meeting today, March 14. We have the presence of Commissioner Bridget Burnfield, Cecily Wilson, Warmins, Isabel Cotarello, Marilena Ferrer, the Director of Arts and Culture, Pete Potter. We have our advisor, Maggie. I was going to say Maggie Evans. Is that the wrong Maggie? It's another Maggie. Sarah Pasti, who is, you are our liaison with the.
I am not your liaison, but I am on this, no.
But you should.
I'm an interested party, so I show up at meetings.
That's
even though
great.
I'm not supposed to.
And we love to have you here. We also have our other advisor, Richard Promes, and we have the visit of Tom Kruger.
Yes.
Yeah, online we have Commissioner Julio Nazario. Is there anybody online?
No, not yet.
Not
We're
yet.
expecting Dina,
Perfect. Okay.
and Lisa will be here.
And Lisa will be here. Perfect. So let's start with the meeting today. Did everybody read the minutes? Do we have a motion?
I just have two changes. Spelling of my name and Lisa's name. C-I-C-I.
Oh, it's Cecily with I, right?
Yeah, and Lisa with two E's, I think, of the end of her name.
Lisa Kelly?
It's K-I-L-L-E-Y, right?
Really? It's E-Y Kelly?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
Yes.
we know those typos. Other than that, do we have a motion? Okay,
Now I'll make a motion.
perfect. Second,
I second.
you second, okay, votes in favor to approve the minutes? Anybody abstention or against? No, approve the motion, thank you very much, everyone. So our second, point of the agenda today is the presentation of our guest, Tom Kruger from Tempo.
Hi.
Welcome.
Oh, but then I don't let me be able to see me.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Let me just say to the public, I just need to remind you, you have to sit here, please.
Okay.
I need to remind you that this is not just a meeting for the commission, you are also speaking to the public.
To the
Oh,
public,
good.
yeah.
Oh, yes, thank you. You are right.
So you have to remember that some of us who have met, but others have not, and I don't know, so that the camera can see it. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
You have the floor, Mr.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, public. I've met and walked through the building with some of you and much more than others. It's wonderful to be at this phase. I mean, it's kind of surreal. Okay. Okay, I am here representing Kingston Music Initiative, which will become Tempo Kingston. It's kind of in the process of Tempo Kingston, and that's a performing arts center in the Rondout at 29 Wirt Street. And it's going to be a music school, performing arts, artist residencies, and primarily music centric. And we're still imagining all the possibilities, of which there seem to be many, and they keep growing, and we're just, excited to explore all the possibilities, but we're growing, and we're just born.
Is it an unusual building that you're in?
It's an unusual building. It's a former Methodist Episcopal, Trinity Methodist Episcopal Church, and built in 1868. And then the previous owners had subdivided already the parsonage from the church. But the church, somebody recently had really renovated it.
Yeah.
It's in pretty great shape. I mean, it's been vacant and pipes have burst and a lot of stuff has started to fall apart in that vacancy. But the parish house has been abandoned for 25 years. It was just animals and it was pretty much imploding when I took it over, and I bought that separately from them, but with the intention of fixing it up in a way that would support primarily residencies for artists and musicians who can come through. And I feel that's the thing that I hear all the time is that if a musician or a group has a place to stay, it's that basic.
Yeah.
They will come, and to be able to be on this corridor between New York and Boston and the places that we can support that kind of those kind of groups and musicians to come. I'm hoping that that's how the parish house will play a role in this, and I'll get to live there. That's the other bonus. So I've been working on it for a year now, and I'm still just trying to shore up the foundations and stuff. It's a big job. And then so now as we move forward into the Tempo Kingston, that we're now just beginning, and there's a lot of projects that still need to be done. I mean, there's the whole roof, the envelope of the building, there's leaks, there's repointing, there's whoever painted it used a paint that was wrong for the brick. And so I just did it to my place. I just had to strip the entire building and then repoint it, and I'm still doing that. So, and imagine on that building that's just something
That's what the sanctuary, what used to be the church, that building.
Yes, the church building is in need of a lot of work. Foundational drainage, roof, gutters. I'm working with contractors and people now to find out what are their bids for that kind of thing. And so then we'll begin the capital campaigns and what we need to do to either grants, and then the more exciting things like, things that some donors might be a little bit more excited about, like new restoration of the stained glass windows, adopt a window. We're kind of like looking for ways to make that happen. And it's funny, like looking around the room here, knowing how much experience is even in this room with putting together these kind of projects and nonprofits and capital campaigns and grant writing, and I'm just entering into that world, but learning from so many people, including yourselves, how that gets done efficiently. And there's just so much wonderful energy, not only here, but just in Kingston, of people who have done this, and they see this great need for this space and potential. So, and I was just telling somebody earlier how it all happened. It's really like the building chose me. I was in it, and I happened to be standing in the building when no one had been in there for months, and it was in the middle of February last year when the main water main burst from it being frozen. And had I not been standing there at that moment, it would have been horrendous, the amount of damage that happened. And then I managed to get it fixed by nightfall. The owners didn't even know who I was. They were like, who are you and why are you in our building? And I, explained, and then they loved the idea that it could be a music venue, that they were really into it. And I told them some of the people that were already involved, and they knew, for example, who knew what New Albion Music is, which is a label of very obscure avant-garde music that Foster Reed, who's been very helpful and as a board member. That was his label, and they just went, New Albion. I mean, who knows what New? I didn't know what it was. Anyway, it was, so that kind of synergy just seems to be happening, and so that's kind of in a nutshell how it's formed, and now we now own the building, and we're, got our 501c3, we've got our permit from the city. Now it's just go. It's go time. It's a question of, yes, we're in the historic, so I contacted Sue Cahill and Ethan Dickerman and spoke to them about its historic significance. The building itself, I'm still not sure whether it's on the historic registry, but certainly the district is.
The district is.
And I think that they sent me some stuff that made it look like it was very well documented in that process. So there's more to be done, but I'm sure I think it's historic itself, or whether the neighborhood meets that, makes it just automatic. I don't know
In
exactly.
fact, if it is, it should be available, that information should be available about the building itself.
Yes,
And the question is, who to, if you can't find it, who else can find it for you?
yes.
Um,
Taylor, yeah.
Taylor Brooks.
Taylor's the first person I checked.
Okay.
So the name of the organization is Tempo Kingston?
The name, well, Tempo is what we would like to.
It's a project.
Is the building, and when, in the future, people will say, somebody's playing at Tempo, or,
Okay.
and there were already other places called Tempo Arts, or this or that, and so we just decided Tempo Kingston was good, and it says, the geographic element is there, but the actual owners of the building and the current 501c3 is Kingston Music Initiative. That's how.
Kingston Music Initiative,
Yeah.
okay.
And so then, and the way that because of insurances and all this stuff, the landlords will essentially be Kingston Music Initiative. They will own the building, and then we'll start Tempo Music Academy, School, Conservatory, whatever it ends up being. Tempo Performing Arts, and so there'll be these other entities, but as far as the public facing group, it will be Tempo Performing Arts and Tempo Music School. That's what I think the public will be aware of.
One of the things, Tom, that you had talked to me about very early on was your desire to do music education. Could you
Yes.
tell us about that,
Yes.
please?
Well, I mean, I can first of all just start by saying that as a musician myself, and one that it's a passion that came later in life, really. My life kind of took a left turn when I discovered music and my love for it, and dance and community and connection. And it's by far, I work in film, which is great and all, but it doesn't have the connection to and the joy and the things that I think are the most beneficial right now to our community and to the world. And so the desire that's where I'm coming from. And so that this place, that seems to be the focus that we all, I'm not alone in that. And so we're really come together with a lot of people that want it to be a music-centric center. That's how we'll.
But you want to teach people.
And so with that comes teaching music and inspiring them right from the get-go. We've been meeting with a woman named Rachel, who runs a program called Music Together, and that's toddlers, literally 1 to 5, and they come with their parents, and then we have another person, Jason Vance, who works at CCE and runs programming for kids there, and he wants to create a program and continue at CCE, but kind of let Tempo music school, grow students all the way through so that at CCE, they have so many things going on that they can only handle this one particular age group and then they age out. And he wants to be able to continue with them. And so that's really exciting. And so he'll put that, he's gonna run, as of now, the program, and he's very experienced in designing curriculum and he's just great with kids. So he'll run that. But there'll be, then I'm talking to Dan Schote, who runs the Bridge Arts, and have the jazz there, and there's a lot of other stuff. So there's so much just music-centric stuff that will be happening.
What about private instruction?
And private as well, absolutely. And then when artists come, like for example, let's say
Place for rehearsal or?
rehearsals, recording.
Record, okay.
Absolutely. And even recording the performances, that's actually my career has been a lot of video and recording visuals. So to be able to offer kind of programming. Wouldn't it be great if someday it's live from Temple Kingston and on NPR?
Streaming to the world.
We're actually going to visit E-Town in Boulder, Colorado, and they took a church, Mountain Stage, and those places.
Yeah.
What is that venue, do you know?
Mountain Stage or E-Town?
Mountain Stage. Is it just a regular theater?
I guess so, I don't know, but I know that E-Town, they took a church and did exactly what we hope to do, but that's really about artists coming and they have their show and stuff. It's not necessarily a music school, I don't think. But let's say, for example, some Daryl Anger, I'm just throwing a name out, he played recently up here, and you get somebody like Daryl Anger and Mike Marshall come, and he's a teacher, he teaches at camps, he does all this stuff, but if you have him and they do workshop for the weekend. So they'll come and they'll play a show on Friday and maybe Saturday night, but all day Saturday and all day Sunday, they're teaching workshops. So that's, in the article that came out recently in Hudson Valley One, they talked, he really gleaned a lot of what I was saying about my inspiration, which was a Shokin Center. And I just, when I went, that's when my life took the left turn. So he said, you should go to this place. And I went and I just suddenly saw this dancing and the music and this energy that I had never witnessed before. And that's how they do these week-long camps. And there is sleepover camp, which we wouldn't necessarily be able to do, but
But they're kind of out there,
Not in the woods.
Mr. Tom, for as far as what you could envision, as far as your audience, the students that can, take advantage of your programming,
yes.
who do these people look like? Are they low income? Are they people who can afford it? What is your target population looking like?
I would say it's definitely sliding scale, however we can afford to do it, and accessible, like that's the main thing, and just the great equalizer of music and art. I just, that it would be, the intention would be any kind of scholarships, any kind of grants, anything that we can get that can allow for people who would normally not have access to this kind of thing. 100%. And same with attendance. If people want to come, I really loved at Ashokan how they are no longer really requiring wristbands. And I thought, that's cool. If you gotta come in and you can't pay, you don't have to be embarrassed about it, just come. And if you can pay, pay. And it just that kind of energy versus where's your wristband? And if you don't have it, you're kind of shamed. It just, to me, seems when I saw that they were doing that, I thought, that's a great model.
So do you have, I'm sorry. You're next.
I was just going to make a quick comment how, if only the major philanthropist in Kingston were a professional musician. how great-
Yes.
And he is.
Yes, and I look forward to being, you know, on his radar as well, their radar.
So do you have two separate, you know me, you talk to me.
Go ahead.
We-
I like it.
do you have like two separate budgets, one for capital, one for your programming? And when do you think that this programming, when do you know, cut this ribbon? When do you
Yes.
get in here and get going?
Go to the party first.
Yeah.
Ribbon cut.
Yes, I feel like there's gonna be the kind of introductory concerts and things where people get to come and meet the space and meet all the wonderful people that are making it possible. And then there's been some talk about the music school. Like, if we could open with a can of paint and some rug and, you know, kind of just barely try to get it open, which would be great because then there's, you know, we've established that we're doing it. But then I've also heard from other people that then to say, okay, now we're kicking you all out so that we can start the build out of the space, that might not be the best use of the space.
You have a strong opinion, Maggie.
Well, I do.
I'm sure Tom would like to hear.
But I think that it's, you know, talk about an opening in 25 or 26 and really get the job done
Yeah.
and then open it to the public. And you could do some almost fundraiser kind of events in the raw space.
Yes,
But it's also more complicated for insurance
Yeah.
purposes
Yeah.
particularly, and things like that. To invite people into a space that
Not
needs
ready,
work
yeah.
is tough.
okay, well,
tricky.
that's,
It's tough to do.
I'm hearing you loud and clear. And that's actually kind of a relief because the idea
Yeah.
that we would be, I mean, and when people say that, I'm like, okay. But then when people say, no, you should establish yourself so that people realize that you're doing it, you are already doing it. But I think that.
Well, maybe outside in the yard, you know, in a
Yeah.
good day like today, you can have something out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, so to that note, I don't think that there would be, the school has incredible insurance requirements and all this stuff. So once there are kids involved, it's a
Yeah.
whole other ballgame. Which is why even the insurance companies that I've been dealing with, as soon as they hear the school part, they. Sorry. No, thanks. And then the broker that I'm dealing with said, I recommend that you take that off the plate, get a landlord's policy, and then once that entity is up and running, we will talk about
Yeah.
insuring that. So, but we are actually, you know, I've been charged by our board to do the repairs, the fire safety, just enough so that we can be open and we can have events pretty soon. I would say it's months, we're months away from having concerts and workshops for adults. And the downstairs is in great shape, both, but
I mean, I've seen the space and I've seen the space and I would love to open it next week.
yeah, it's not far.
Yes, but
It's not far.
So I'm assuming that the
Okay,
legal
wait a minute.
counsel.
She's got something to say.
Yeah, I just- it's important to establish what you want it to be. And have pictures of what you want it to be and all of that. But you need to be careful about taking money from people other than as donations and
Yeah,
to a space that is not ready for the public yet.
yes.
Explain what you mean by taking money from people.
Well, and I guess that also in that line, I was going to ask you if, I'm assuming that you have some legal counsel that also can walk you through potential liabilities, what
Yeah.
things you should do first to
Yes.
cover your back.
Yeah.
And all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that in place?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a Honeywell law firm in Albany, and then Rosemary Nichols who's on our board, is a very experienced nonprofit lawyer.
Okay.
So they're, the two of them are very much counseling us on, and we won't do anything where we're opening up ourselves to liability.
Yeah.
And also, we are an affiliate of a group, our 501c3 for now came through an affiliation with a group called Country Dance and Song Society. And I was on the board of Ashokan for 8 years in its initial creation. And that's who came so that's how we started Ashokan. And what CDSS, as long as we are promoting traditional music and traditional dance, doesn't mean that's all we have to be doing, but as long as we're doing that, and that's in our bylaws, which it is, we can be an affiliate. So, and one of the other things that they provide is event insurance. So when you.
Right, yeah, we have that rider, okay.
They will insure it. So that's kind of, so we're gonna go for the landlord policy, so everything's covered in case somebody trips somewhere or whatever. We'll have our directors and officers insurance, and then we'll just insure the events. And I mean, to your point, I'm definitely like, when anybody comes in, they'll know that this is our goal, and this is where we are now. And please, help if you can, but we have a lot of things that need to get done that will disrupt programming, roofs and all the stuff that needs to happen, will just.
What is your capacity for your performing arts space?
I set up some chairs and I got to 250 seated. Yeah.
And when you are envisioning your performing, or are you looking also at visual arts of some sort? Are you looking at film? Are you looking at exhibitions of some sort?
Great.
Or just primarily performing?
Great question. Well, and I mean, in an ideal world, what we've been talking about as a board and such is that it would be music centric. So if you had a film, we really would love to do live scoring to a film, or it's a film about music. Or dance. Dance is very much a music thing, or a musical. If it's, that would be a part of it. I mean, I met with a woman yesterday named Andrea, who is a dancer, and just to hear what she would want if it was a stage. And we had an expert there that came with her to say who built stages. So we met with those two people, and she was like, well, it could be this, and then this, and he said, well, it would be constructed like this with the springing, and so we're thinking that dance will be a part of it.
Right. And the dance programs, when you talk about Ashokan, because I've been there, I love it, but it appeals primarily to white audiences. So as far as, your offerings here in Kingston, which we represent the world here, what do the people on your stage look like? What do the people on your audience look like?
Yes, good question. Again, as diverse as absolutely possible. And I think that, the music, one of the projects is the sound attenuation. The building is incredible sound for a very particular kind of a music. It's the reverb in there. There's a company called Eventide that is a digital reverb company. They came and modeled the room for one of their reverbs. It's beautiful, but it's very reverberated. And so percussion in there, for example, is tricky. It gets muddy immediately. It's bouncing all over the walls. So then I met with a guy and I had more meetings with people who specialize in how you attenuate the sound for the different types of music. So like, for example, reversible panels for the walls. One side is live, one side is absorption. These kind of baffled sails that you can clip and then just pull them up, and they'll be beautiful, and they will stop the sound from, and then the crowd, you know, I know it was just joking, but it's just absolute science. And to your question, once we get that in place, anything is possible. But then we will be working very hard to make the music. Oh, which reminds me of one of the projects that I'm the most excited about, and have already been meeting with Sarah Litman, and is to have immigrant festivals, and where we can just say, here, the Kekchin community of Kingston, or the Ukrainians, or whatever, here's a weekend or a night and a day. How can we help you throw a festival with all your music, with all your culture, food, and then we invite the rest of the community.
I have a question. Unfortunately, the time is running out, but following on Kit's question about diversity.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, how diverse is your board and all the people already involved?
Yes.
How diverse is
And
that
your
group of
program.
people?
How diverse is your programming team, or are you the programmer that ties into that?
I mean, we had our first board meeting of the people who helped create. Peter Wetzler is
He's your neighbor.
He's my neighbor, and he helped create he helped bring the space to being. It was really his friends and all that, and they're like in the arts in Kingston, very well respected in Kingston. The other person is Foster Reed. Now, he is just like, I think they're just people, his intention is to help us get going. We have a 3-year term limit. Then and we're now talking the executive board, myself, and our lawyer, Rosemary Nichols. We're vetting for the right people who can bring the best kind of skills to the table, and then just grow it as it comes. But to your point, 100% diversity is.
What is
The diversity, the current diversity of the
Currently,
board?
we're all Caucasians and one woman. So, but we have 4, we're looking for 5, so we're trying to, and that's the executive board. I have an advisory board, which is very diverse, Paul Rivers, Bailey, what's that?
They don't vote, nor are they fiduciary.
Yeah, they don't vote.
So I think our question is more centering on, look at Kingston, does your board reflect Kingston?
Yes.
And I realize that you're now in your infant stages.
Oh, yeah,
But I think the board should be charged with looking at what the community looks like.
Yeah, mostly,
Where are your Latins, where are your Blacks, where are your Asians?
100%,
yeah,
100%,
mostly, and
absolutely 100%.
And I think that would be interesting, although we may need to cut it there, but
Okay.
just as another warning, from me personally to you, when you have a group of Caucasians bringing together a program that eventually will think on diversity, it's hard not to think on tokenism, so try to not go there.
Say it.
Tokenism.
Oh, yes, oh, sure, well,
Yeah.
yes. I mean,
Because, it's good to have diversity, not just to show your face out there, because it's not about checking the box. It's
Yes.
about really understanding. I remember in economic discussions when people were saying, well, we are talking about business, we are not talking about diversity and inclusion. And I was like, okay, in economic terms, if you have all your eggs in one basket, do you advise that to be the right way of doing it? You don't do that, right? You diversify your investments. It's exactly the same principle. If all your eggs are in one basket, you're gonna miss the world. So try to diversify your eggs so what you are creating in itself is already embracing that, and you don't need to convince anybody of what you want to do because we can see what you're doing. So that's my.
Yes, and in closing, thank you. I am very aware of that, and I am very much moving in that direction. And to your point about tokenism, I absolutely want whoever is involved to be very energetic very working with us. I'm not just gonna flag somebody down on the street. It's got to be someone who understands music, who understands nonprofits, who understands how to run these things, and be someone of
And reflect
and
this.
reflect the Kingston community. So that kind of search takes time, but that, even for now, that board position is specifically for someone who fits that bill.
I
So-
suggest you consider a larger board.
Yes.
Well, that's true.
I thought you were going to say, I suggest that we ask people here if they'd like to volunteer.
What's the maximum in the bylaws right now?
We haven't, I don't think that's in there right now. The only thing that I've been.
You have to check the bylaws.
But what, I'll check, of course. But I'm just gonna say that I'm not, it won't be tomorrow. It's gonna be when we find the right people for the job. And that will be first and foremost on my mind. 100%, 100%. So.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. One more expression.
Richard, we're over the top. Yeah, go.
I just wanted to just, I'll try and make this brief.
Yeah, sure.
Again, we'll talk more later. But, you know, it's nice to talk about diversity as a thing, and actually, almost diversity itself sometimes can be almost a tokenism to just say. The point of it that's very important, and something like this can play in very well. We need to keep our youth here. We need to keep the people we have here. We have had such an infusion of people from New York coming here, and it has changed the balance of.
Diversity includes age.
Huh?
Diversity includes age, it's not just race. We're talking about diversity in the whole spectrum
Yes.
of life.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that something like this is that affects the communities that are here, that have been here. I mean, and I'm just going to mention it, I'm not gonna go into it, but I mean, in a sense, listening to you talking about this with this raw space and bringing people in and so on, makes me think of Ben Wigfall starting Communications Village. And since everybody here knows about that, I don't need to go into that, and I'll talk to you more about that, but it is about, you know, keeping a certain character of Kingston as it is, and also bringing in new, but also keeping in what we've had here and
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you have your contact information?
Yes. I mean, several people here have my contact.
No.
To tell to the public, invite them. I guess that they don't know where is the place. Okay.
I think it would be great if we,
Yeah.
if just we had.
Yes.
your-
Sorry, okay, info at Tempo Kingston, it gets directly to us.
TempoKingston.org.
Yeah, tempokingston.org, yes. Info at tempokingston.org.
And this is on Ward Street.
It's on Words, it's 29.
Is Ward Street or Avenue?
Street.
The street, right? Okay, Ward Street.
Yeah, I'm so excited about other things too, even like, there's this incredible park across the street. Amphitheater.
Yeah, you can do something there.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's a good
Need to-
starting.
Yeah, so and I spoke to the mayor about it, he said, that sounds
Yeah.
fantastic, we want somebody with that energy to
Totally.
come in, so we're
Is the
excited.
bridge reopening, is the bridge or walking?
It's not yet, no, not yet.
Which will it be, cars or walking?
Will not.
Will be-
Thank you very much. Please, you're invited. You can stay for the rest of the meeting, you don't feel that you have to go. So next on our agenda, we have the director's report. Okay,
Okay, my apologies, what copy you have here is not the updated copy. So I'm going to look at what we posted online and make sure that is the correct copy. So bear with me as I remember what I put in the other one. This is 3 months, because as you know, I deferred my report because we were looking at the public art policy. We also had other items, so I have not really reported for the year. I continue to help individuals, organizations and what have you, with their grant reviews, helping to establish themselves here in Kingston. This guy right here, on my list of priorities. But to say that is that over the last couple of years, I have been, just welcoming anyone. And, I'm advised that, many folks who have come that I've assisted with grants actually can afford consultants. I'm not really a consultant. I am, I have a job and it has many hats. So basically, when I'm looking at, prioritizing who I will be helping this year, these will be individual artists who, are struggling. These will be arts organizations who are serving those most in need, businesses who are, kind of still recovering from.
That may not be able to hire a consultant.
Right.
But those who can,
I will
maybe
refer
invite
them-
them to do so.
I will refer them, we have a body of consultants in the Hudson Valley, led by Susan Ragusa. I'd be happy to, they have a program called, well, I forgot what the program is, it's free an hour.
Yeah.
And within that hour, you can get a
You
whole lot
can see
done.
what, yeah.
Okay, so there is a, great group that can do that, and I would be happy to refer that. Next, as far as promoting, well, the community calendar, the citywide community calendar that I was able to assemble last year was because we had an events and festivals grant. It was amazing how many people were willing to give me all of their dates last year. This year, I can't get a hold of anybody. So I'm moving, events,
People disappear.
we don't have but the events and festivals ARPA grant has closed. It will not be reopened. And I'm glad that we were able to help so many people. But the good thing is that Radio Kingston is covering so many events with Radio Kingston Tech that they have taken this over. And, if you go onto the Radio Kingston website, you can actually submit your event, or Erica Brown is looking at those that they do provide tech for. I will put it up on the calendar. So I'm watching that calendar and it's really doing a great job. So I'm just, we have Ulster County Tourism and we have Radio Kingston. So for everyone who is looking for extra help in promoting your events this year, I highly encourage you to go to both.
Okay,
And then, yes?
you may want to also talk to Kevin.
Kevin Goodby?
The three, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about
The
that too.
three areas of the three business associations of the city are aligning to create a citywide marketing campaign
Great.
that is going to be managed by Kevin.
Kevin who?
Kingston Happenings.
Kevin Godby.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
I'm sorry, I'm not getting this name. I'm trying to.
GODBEY.
GODP, yeah,
Yeah.
and he,
In a lot of my areas.
so you might want to check with,
He's
get him
looking for
in that
something to
loop, because
migrate.
he will also
Okay.
be, be promoting the city and therefore, and the city is paying for it.
Thank you.
This is ARPA funds.
But that's important then to, yeah, yeah.
He's wanted to.
Well, he has been doing Kingston Happening for many years.
No, he's wanted to really expand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
Okay. So thank you for that. I also am reporting on music and the Music in the Park series this year. We put out a call for performers a couple months ago. I got 54 submissions for 4 concerts. And
So they're gonna be huge concerts.
yeah. I wish I could make it a festival for one of them.
24 hours concert.
I know,
I mean,
based on words, never.
they park across the place, yeah.
Well, I can't announce who the panel picked. The panels consisted of Gloria Waslin from Cowards for Peace, Jessica and Monique from We Got Next Radio Kingston, Mike Jakovic from Calling Up Poets. We picked people who don't know a whole lot of people here. So that, and also Michael Torres, and they selected, and it was very difficult because we have a lot of talent.
Oh, you went already through the selection?
Yes.
Oh,
So, Summer has the list of the people that have been, we cannot announce who did until the press release goes out, which should be within a week or so. Those who did not, out of the 50 who did not get selected, I get so many calls for festivals and events, performers from throughout the valley, that I have a treasure trove of referrals for these people now. I mean, a lot of these people are amazing. So anybody in the public, if you need referrals of talent for your events and festivals this year, please email me at kkingston-kingston. So anyway, I haven't reported on this, but we did.
Can I just interrupt
Yes.
that agenda? Would you consider, and maybe I'm not talking for myself here, having a representative from the Arts Commission on the committee that chooses the musicians, just so the Arts Commission have a better idea of what's.
How the process, yeah?
Yeah, and what's going on.
Sure, next year, that's
Yeah,
fine.
well,
Yeah.
it's not going to be this year.
Absolutely.
Because I think it would be a very helpful thing for us to have that insight and have one of, because it's not going to be, one of the civilians here give their perspective on it.
Would love to. Okay, so for next year, I will definitely pull whoever would like to serve from the commission, because, yes.
No,
These
No.
used to work with you, Paula.
I was gonna say,
So,
no expertise here.
yeah, so anyway, we always end the year with Ars Paralis at Old Dutch Church. And it's usually a message of unity. We all come from somewhere, which, you know, we were having readings from people who come from all backgrounds, all countries. Last year was Let Our Love Be Heard. We had 300 people in the audience. We were reading from Colin Powell to Jimmy Carter, and the chorale was beautiful, and the response was just stunning. You saw tears of joy in the audience, and the basic message that we send at the end of the year is that, yes, these are the words of Barb Picard, who is the director of Ars Paralis, is that, you know, right now we have, during the holidays, we were celebrating our holidays as mothers were burying their children from mass shootings or from war. And you hear about this all the time in the media, the front pages. But Barbara's message that was sent by, the City of Kingston, and Ars Paralis message that was sent at the end of the year is love is still here. And let our love be heard. So I just wanted to report that 300 people, there was not a seat left in that church. And it was beautiful. We raised, every year, we select a charity. Last year, we selected Family of Kingston, and people were asked, and who know, to bring warm clothing, donations, or cash, blankets. Last year, we raised $1,000, round out there, for Family of Kingston. In
That's family of Woodstock.
Family of Woodstock in Kingston. And so this year, we selected the People's Place. They actually came and tabled, which was very helpful.
That's good.
So when we were leaving the church, there was a tsunami of mostly new things, new coats, new hats, new gloves, socks, but blankets, brand new blankets. And then they were collecting money, but then people were still writing checks to the church. So at the end of the day, about $1,600
That's
was
good. That's great.
from the our event at the end of the year. So
For people, please.
for people,
Then,
yeah.
that's
So
great.
so I'm just overjoyed to say that we will do it again this year, and we really hope to, you know, see everybody in the room. We also well, let me just go on to what's going on next.
We have like 2 or 3 minutes.
We have in March 30th, David Gonzalez and Peter
Underwood.
and Frederick will be performing Peter in the Wolf, Carnival of the Animals once again. Last year, it was one of those things where you couldn't get a seat in Old Dutch Church. And
Thank you. I thought it was for my birthday that.
it is March the 30th, let me put it down here. March the 30th at Old Dutch Church, free storytelling.
Put it in the camera, so.
Yep. And Old Dutch Church is 272 Wall Street. This is for children and families of all ages. I don't care if you're 2 or 100, you will have a beautiful time. It's just so cool. And then, of course, they have, they invite the kids up to the stage. It's just beautiful. And it's a great way to open and welcome spring. And
So it's, so this means that you're involved with it,
that's right. When you see
It's
It's
this.
organized by this, yeah.
Because we didn't, I mean, this is so busy, we couldn't.
no,
put
that's
arts and cultural
important
business.
to,
Right.
Yeah.
get the.
Yes, and so the next after this, we're looking forward because as you know, 2 years ago, the city of Kingston declared Juneteenth an official holiday. So we are hosting a Juneteenth event on the
Okay.
14th of June at Old Dutch Church, and we're featuring Juma Sultan, Aboriginal Society. Juma was the percussionist for Santana and Jimi Hendrix at the 69 Woodstock Festival, but he has been enjoying an amazing career, playing for so many people, and has still got it. He is amazing. His ensemble consists of very young players and aging players, and the synergy between the intergenerational is amazing. So we'll be starting that, and Ubaka Hills Women's Drum Song Orchestra will be, doing the prelude. And then, of course, Harambe Kingston will be doing their annual the next day on the Saturday. And then Margaret Wade Lewis Center in New Paltz will be hosting the Juneteenth event at the historic Huguenot grounds that Wednesday, which is the official holiday.
Cool.
So I'm really happy to look at that. We're also I'm gonna close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me go to now the public art policy.
Okay, yeah, that's the update for the correct.
Jennifer McGregor, of course, is not here, but she did send along today. Sorry, it's last
Oh.
minute. But today you got the final.
Did you send it to us?
Yeah, it's.
Oh, beautiful.
I actually did not forward
Oh,
it
no.
to, because I didn't have time to.
Okay, no, but we will have it.
I'm gonna put it up on, isn't this it right here?
Oh, you printed, okay, beautiful.
I'm going to post it on Engage Kingston. This is the last,
You're supposed to already.
I know I haven't,
Oh.
but this, I have to publicly post the work that we're doing as we're doing it, for public comment. This is still a draft. The first draft of the municipal art collection plan, is on Engage Kingston. We haven't had any feedback from anyone.
Nobody knows it's there, let's not tell them until we've got it. No, I didn't,
Yeah.
what I mean is till it's finished, till you, I don't think you exclude
It's a
the
public talk
Yeah.
process. So
until.
the
Yeah.
public has been invited to weigh in. I hope that the public will weigh in as we're working on this, actually. We will have a public hearing at some point by about May. It looks like we're on time. Jennifer will be meeting with the mayor on April 5th to get the mayor's input on the public art policy that he sees for the city of Kingston to include City Hall. And if you want to just review, again, I'm going to post this on Engage Kingston, but also I will send you the copies of this. Basically, Jennifer says that we are on time as far as our timeline is
It looks like,
concerned.
yes.
And you forgive me. I have to pull up because it just came through. Hold on.
So before we take another look at it, it's going to be put up. Is that
But
what you're-
Engage?
On Engage Constant? That's before we take a final look at it?
Yes, because we're
It will
inviting.
still be a draft.
We have to invite public comment as we move forward. Again, we have let the public know in our announcement, our previous announcements, that the public is welcome to, submit their comments. And we have yet to hear, but, in any event, it looks like we are still on schedule to be able to present the final by June. I think that's all I have.
Cool, well, thank you very much. That's the public art policy updates and the next steps. So we're moving.
I'd like to
Sure.
interrupt
Go ahead.
Perfect.
on this particular one,
Mhm.
that I would recommend that before it goes to the next step, that the Arts Commission have a chance, and it could be a 2-day deadline or anything, to take another look at the policy before it is sent out. Again, given our involvement until now, and certainly, and I say this having great respect for and confidence in our consultant, but I still think it would be the smart thing to do to have us take another look at it.
To make, and if we have any comments, to have them incorporated before they are posted on Engage.
Yeah.
Is it possible to look at, the things that we want to change from last time? Is there like a document that's marked up that, because, you know, it just reminds me of what the discussion was.
Yeah. Be very good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you make, yeah, I don't know if you, I have to check on my folder on the computer. I think that I've been saving the draft of, you know, like, I don't know
Maybe Jennifer has it.
Yeah, I think the last was Jennifer's.
if she was taking, yeah, she was taking some notes that I'm assuming are reflected here, but it would be good to look at you say. So, I guess that, should we have a motion for that? Is that something that the commission decides, Kid? Or can be like a suggestion for you before you post on Engage?
You can.
To give us a few days so we can add any comments that eventually could.
Will be so recorded that this is your request.
Perfect. Well, I need the motion. I guess that you do the motion, you, to have that considered. You seconded, we agreed. So if we vote for asking for that, yes, sorry.
Please re-articulate the motion
Oh, sorry.
in shorthand in a couple of minutes.
Perfect. So the motion that word, you will say better than me, is just to give the commission.
Bilingual.
I can say en Spanish. So, que nos den un poco de tiempo a los comisionados para que podamos leer el documento, hacer comentarios antes de que se ponga en la página de Engage. Okay, so now in English. Isabel. Yeah, no, basically the motion is to give us time, the commissioners, to read the last draft, compare our notes, and if we have comments, that the comments are incorporated to that copy that is gonna be made public on Engage. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay, good.
and it would be ASAP, and if we have comments, may I suggest that we make them,
A deadline maybe by Sunday, the
but
latest?
CC all.
Okay, oh, that sounds good too. So if we have all those comments by Sunday, we'll see, Kit, by Monday or Tuesday, you will have the document on Engage. Does that?
It's recorded.
Yes, no, but I mean, is that something perfect? So, votes in favor of the motion that I'm assuming was seconded by Commissioner Cosarello? Yeah, you seconded?
What are the dates?
Yes.
You said Monday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, Word asked for a couple of days and just extended to the weekend, so by Monday or Tuesday, Kid could.
Next week or, okay.
This,
I mean,
this,
week.
so 3 days.
Okay.
He was asking for 2 days, I'm just taking a Thursday.
Oh, okay, I was under the impression you wanted the full draft of all the sections that this phase is.
Well, if you want to go to the full draft to see what the edits that are in this last copy.
So we'll be receiving that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm requesting, that it has the edits. So that-
Well, the only way.
Those are the whole copies?
But the only way that you can do this effectively, given that we're in the 21st century, is to get a digital copy of this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna be sitting there.
Yeah, the thing is, I can check in my folder, I saved at least a couple of drafts, I can share that with you guys. And then Kid, you will send us this last draft digitally. Perfect, that works for everybody? Okay, I will send the copy that I have, what is this?
That's for the end of the meeting. I'm just sending it around.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. So I get that, Commissioner, just to remind you, by Sunday night. Hello. Do we have your attention? So by Sunday night, we're gonna have our comments. Tonight, I'm gonna share with you whatever draft I have. Okay? Kid is gonna send us the last draft. And we will have until Sunday night to submit our comments, so Kid can post next week. That's still a draft, because now we are gonna ask for public input. Okay, perfect, thank you very much, everyone. Our next point in the agenda is the Distinguished Artist Award. Lisa?
Okay, here's more paper.
More paper?
Just the one sheet.
Yes.
This came from the trees from the last windstorms.
We're not gonna do paper made out of rocks.
So, the committee met, to establish the selection process for the panel that we're assembling. On this sheet that's being passed around is the proposed list of proposed selection panelists. So they're not confirmed yet, but I wanted the commission to review and offer any insights or questions. We have one alternate, so it's five panelists with one alternate in case one person is not available. We did have two in an email conversation, but I did not feel comfortable adding a second person until I got more input from the committee or from the commission board. So the nominations are open now for the Distinguished Artist Award through March 25th. I emailed everyone the press release. It has all the particulars. Please spread the word to all about this. What can I say, Kit, to the people?
To invite the public to nominate, yeah?
Go to the City of Kingston's email. You can actually just Google City of Kingston Distinguished Artist Award,
All right.
and it will come up on the page so that you can nominate.
Any artist on any discipline, yeah?
Yeah, so it's a Kingston resident that has lived in the city of Kingston for a minimum of 2 years in any artistic discipline that's deemed worthy of nominating for this award, that will be that the awardee will be holding the honor for two years. And with a ceremony, award ceremony to take place on May 23rd. Yes, May 23rd. At 5 o'clock. 5:30, shoot, I don't remember.
Here on the chamber, right?
Sorry, I had the date. May 23rd is the award ceremony and reception, where the artists will have an opportunity to present their work in whatever art form that is. So we've got Radio Kingston confirmed for all the AV support and the live streaming of the event. We've got, Kit has confirmed the use of the chambers for this ceremony. And please mark your calendars. All commissioners are requested to be a part of the award ceremony and reception. And if anyone has any questions, please.
There are two questions there.
I thought I heard you say the 25th is the due date?
Yeah,
Of March.
March
Alright.
25th.
The release just says the 22nd.
Oh, 22nd? I'm sorry.
It's, we only have a week to go, folks, so
Okay.
please get your
Hurry up.
nominations
I'm
in.
sorry,
Is it the
Um,
22nd?
whatever's on the release.
Okay.
It changed. It
Just in
changed.
case go by the 20th.
For Shape Spring.
Yeah, Warren had another question.
I have a comment. I submitted my potential awardees, and I have to say it was great to be able to do it online.
Agreed.
But the one thing that is very strange and difficult is when you're asked for your nominee's telephone number. It's like, I don't know, you know, and I'm thinking, is the nominee going to be
Gold.
No, not called, but if I don't have it, will the nominee be disqualified?
I doubt it. It's just, when you have these kind of competitions, I'm on the Arts Mid-Hudson panel, we
Yeah.
ask for all of the information because it goes so fast, and then once you have selected,
Then
selected
you
them,
contact them, yeah.
someone needs to make a phone call saying you've been awarded. So it's best to just have all that information right up front.
But-
It's going to be secure. I'm not sharing your personal
No,
information.
but I mean, these are people who I don't necessarily know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that if the panel, let's say that the panel decides that one of those
They'll figure it out.
nominations, they will find a way of, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it. I mean, if you don't, this is for public as well. If you don't have, all the information, we do need to verify that these are Kingston residents. It's
Sure.
very
Yeah.
important. So, please do, because sometimes people feel like this person might live in Kingston, and then we hate to, disappoint you when we have to vet it and they don't. So for the public, to understand, please make sure at least that your nominee lives in the city of Kingston. I'm happy to report that we now have 7, but we'd
Yay.
love to have a whole lot more. So please, everyone who's listening in, as well as everybody in attendance, please contact, people that you know and ask them to go ahead and nominate the distinguished artist of your choice that you feel is more than worthy. We have an abundance of talent here. I'm just glad to see that we have at least 7, but we've got another week. And my question, can I ask a question?
Yes,
My question is, will the committee consider extending the deadline for nominations another week? Is that possible? Another week or 2?
I don't see a problem in doing that,
Half the
but
people know.
We'll put out another press release. Well, the city will put out another press release.
That there is an
saying
extension.
That it's been extended.
so should we extend it until the end of the month, for instance?
How will that interfere with the selection process?
We have allotted ourselves a month to identify
Present
a date.
That's all, because anyway, to extend to the end of the month will be just 1 week.
Cecilia has a question.
I just wondered if it was, Radio Kingston is involved, but are they putting it on the radio and then?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're helping.
Did we change, the amount that the person is going to be awarded? Because I think we discussed upping it in some.
Sorry, I don't have that.
Was it 1,500?
It was.
The final was 1,000.
That just seems so.
That's all I have on the budget. Right?
Yeah.
But if there were,
There is-
if there were an interest in a strong interest in increasing it, there could be potential other donors who would be willing to give additional funds.
Well, that will help when we, get this policy passed, because within the policy, we have a funding plan. We'll have to establish what the priorities for funding are within my area. And should this be decided or recommended by I'm sorry, you're making
I
that.
don't understand, are you talking about for this upcoming award?
Mm-mm. That's not applying here. We've already established the budget. It's a $1,000 award with a physical award
Mhm.
that will be presented. And then,
And the reception.
and because of the low amount of the honorarium, we are removing the public project that was part of being the awardee, which caused a lot of problems in the past, at least in terms of optics and just understanding how it works. Because no one
And
really
also the
understood how
artists
it
were
worked.
not
Yeah,
very excited about it.
yeah. Getting an award and then using it for your public project is not an award, it's like a budget for a public project.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the trade-off, that's the trade-off until we get into 2026, when we might have funding options at that point.
One of the nice things would be, and maybe others of you don't agree, having an evening conversation with the awardee.
Yeah.
So there's a great person who can interview this person, find out about their life, their commitment to their art. And that would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that too.
And
being
it could be
along
here or it could be in my living room,
Beautiful.
I don't know if I need to articulate the selection process for the people watching.
Yes, please.
Which is on the papers that I passed out. So the selection panel will consist of 5 members, selected by the commission with the goal of comprising a unbiased, intergenerational, and culturally socioeconomically diverse panel, of City of Kingston residents, which I don't have here, but we've established that the award shall be awarded from a panel of Kingston citizens.
For Kingston artists.
Of Kingston artists from awarded, from Kingston citizens, sorry.
If somebody has a question, it's about a Kingston award.
Yeah, Kingston on Kingston.
Mhm.
And so the selection process models the Artsman Hudson Transparency Panel process. All panelists receive nominations at least a week before the scheduled meeting day to review and to assess the criteria of each nomination based on 3 criteria points. Number 1, level of their artistry and commitment to the art form. Number 2, commitment to the community in terms of relevance and impact. And number 3, recognition in the field locally, nationally, or internationally. The chair I will be scheduling and facilitating the day, for the panel to choose the awardee and 1 runner-up, if the selected awardee declines to accept. I will act as record keeper and to answer any questions about the nominations. And the panel will then be self-governing in how it conducts the selection process, which consists of a welcome and introductions by myself, with a presentation of each nomination alphabetically. Then they'll go through 1 round of yays, nays, and maybes for all nominations, followed by open discussion to determine each maybe nomination to either a yay or nay, however long that might take. The second round of discussion will take place reviewing all the yays, reviewing each nomination as they relate to the 3 criteria points. And I'm going to be, I will craft a scale of those criteria points of 1 to 10, a numeric scale, 1 being low, 10 being high, and then a final round, depending on how the panel wants to handle it, either by vote or consensus and discussion and consensus, the awardee and the runner-up. Then I will report to the mayor and the director of cultural arts affairs, Kit, to report on the selection panel's decision, and then the mayor can make the final approval as he sees fit. So the selection panel nominees, I haven't reached out to them yet, so I want to make sure.
So then we should
name them,
yeah.
so if anyone has any questions, at this point I have them listed. But I will be reaching out to everyone after this meeting.
And another question, the same way that we will have a runner-up after the process, if any of the people that are listed here for the panel, if 1, 2, or 3 cannot make it or whatever, do we have also, I see only 1 alternate.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm just wondering if eventually there are 2 or 3 people that cannot, do we have like just in case?
Well, the committee will need to
Okay.
probably reconvene and look at that.
And look at that,
Because we
okay.
have a whole list of nominees. Thank you, everyone, for submitting their nominations for the selection panel.
Well, the other point in this is normally there's some people that don't, they're very, for whatever reason, you don't want these awards.
Yeah,
So a runner-up is really good. Some people you have to make take the awards.
yeah.
But, for the most part, we should be okay, but just in the event that they're not able to accept, I think a runner-up is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about the committee,
I think that.
in case they don't have
I think
a.
the committee is, these are people who really know about
Yeah,
children.
I was.
Yeah.
And it's good.
And they have been participating maybe in other, yeah. But just,
Yeah,
so, cool,
I would like to get everyone's opinion on adding another.
another
alternate,
alternate,
Or
yeah,
maybe a third,
just in case.
yeah.
Yeah, that would
Okay,
be a
but-
good idea.
But anyway, I will be contacting, I mean, if we can be contacting already the people that we have here so that we can
I'll
have.
start contacting
Beautiful.
tomorrow.
Okay, so I have to
Yes.
take a couple of minutes for Roseanne's announcement.
Yes, I was going to say we have
Can
5
I
minutes.
ask can I ask one more question?
Sure.
though? Did we decide that we're not extending next Friday? Is it, or we are extending? So the extension
For the nominations,
for the nomination.
until the end of the month, maybe it's easier for people to remember, you know, the last day of March.
Yeah, I like a deadline of April Fool's Day.
No, I'm saying March 31st. March
No, let's
31st.
do April first, let's do April
Well, this would
Fool's.
be March 29th.
March 29th is the day.
Close the
Oh,
session.
it need to be, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
I,
right.
if we can record that, please. and
Beautiful.
I
we'll,
heard 3 dates, which one is?
March 29th.
No, I don't want to coincide with my birthday.
And I will alert Summer that we should put out an announcement that we've extended the deadline. Okay, can I, for Roseanne?
Sure,
Okay, so, just so for the public knowledge, everybody has a copy of what Roseanne has issued. Roseanne, Frank is our grants manager.
Mhm.
And the city of Kingston is pleased to issue the request for proposals, seeking submissions from individuals, businesses, or partners, including sculptors, architects, fabricators, to design and build a small monument for permanent placement at the city's new post office park. And the interested parties are invited to submit a proposal in accordance with the terms of the RFP. The RFP can be found at engagekingstown.com/post-office-small-monument-competition. And I'm told, okay, I'm going to just talk about the competition timelines. And you can read everything when you go to those interested parties. I've heard from several people, by the way, who are interested, which is a good thing. March to May 1st, 2024, submissions to the Office of Grants Management. And then there'll be a period from April 2nd, addendum with answers to submitted questions are released to those who provide contact form. May 1st is the submission deadline. The competition will close. From May 6th to May 12th, the review panel will evaluate submissions and select finalists, conduct interviews if necessary, and select the winning submission. June 17th, a contract will be executed. From June 24 to May 25, monument fabrication with 5 monthly progress reports to the city. And the final monument installation is to be June 30th, 2025. I don't know if I can answer it. You have to ask Roseanne, but go ahead.
No, is it possible, does somebody have to be picked from the people who've submitted, or can it be said that none of the submissions were adequate?
I think you would need to take that to Roseanne. R. Frank, at kingston-ny.gov. Any of those kind of questions. That's an interesting question.
So,
Because this is this is gonna be a,
You have a
What?
woman here who'd like to speak now, so.
so what part would our public art policy play in this?
It looks like none.
I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
that's very.
Valid question.
We don't have, we don't.
That
have
question-
Once we have one.
Yes.
What's the administrator?
Yes.
If this arises, how do we fit in, is your question?
Yes.
Yeah, the things that we don't have the policy yet, it seems that we may have the policy approved in the middle of this process. Is that also another question for Ruth Ann to see how that will, okay? Perfect,
I'm sure you'd like to pass that along, Kit.
yes.
Well, Well, I mean, is the commission gonna be considered in the formation of the selection process? I mean, I mean,
I guess that question also goes to
Good
Rudan.
question.
And seeing.
Yeah.
I think it's a really important question.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
More or less carving out our space.
I will say- I will say that we can reach out to Rudan with all those questions because it's a valid point. All the questions
Yeah.
seem very valid. So with that being said,
So would you do that?
I'm more than happy to do so. If you send me an email with the specific, as DJ say, articulating the question, I'm more than happy to contact Rudan, on
We should
behalf
send
of the
you the
commission.
question, you said we should send you the question.
Yeah, send it to me. I will, and I will have a conversation with Rudan and
Someone
we'll reach.
wish to state the question once again. Sorry.
Well, my question was, what part would our public art policy, and someone pointed out that it might come to fruition during.
It might,
process,
yeah,
What part would that play in the decision-making process for them?
here.
Now and in the future? And
The other question is if the commission
Will be involving the
selection.
the selection path.
Yeah, and Richard's question was, Richard, your question?
Huh?
Would you repeat your
Yeah,
question for
my
the
question
record?
was that, if there is no if it's determined there's no satisfactory, submission, we simply, reopen it or postpone it or something.
Or what happened?
So that it doesn't, so that we don't get, that the first prize is the Peter
Exactly.
principle.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
so
all of
DJ,
those,
just to clarify, can I just say my question, because it wasn't quite said the way I asked. What I was saying is, because we don't have our public art policy approved, is there going to be a consideration of the Arts Commission's feedback on how the selection process will be established? And
This is
will
what
have
is-
any consideration towards, some of these very sensitive.
What is
That's
the
very
role
similar
of the
to
Arts
CCDF.
Commission and the Arts and Culture Department in something like this?
Are we gonna consult? Are we gonna be part of a
That's right.
conversation here or what?
That's,
yeah. I guess that for the
that's
commission,
a very big question.
for the commission, it's interesting that the first public art open call doesn't consider the participation of the art commission. So I will be more than happy to have that conversation. We need to vacate the place, so I would like to have a motion to. Yes,
Okay, I'll send you mine.
perfect. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Seconded by Cecily, everybody in favor? Yes, thank you very much, everybody.